Hayden Long, a Geneva, Ohio high school student, he was a sophomore in high school, committed suicide, unfortunately committed suicide, Jose, on Monday. This coming on the heels of a high school dance in which Hayden smelled like pot with a few other students. He's an honor student. He was an honor student at the time. And high school administrators, they pulled him aside, threatened him, saying allegedly that he had ruined his life. They were going to destroy his academic career, his sports reputation. He was this honor student, very involved in school athletics, and he committed suicide the following Monday. His friend, Hank Siegel, posted a letter blaming high school administrators, one in particular, Anthony Markajon, and a police officer, because they pulled the group aside. These are the two men that allegedly verbally assaulted these students. The friend posted this letter on social media. It's garnered over 500,000 hits. It's going viral. And he's saying that these administrators are responsible for bullying this young man into his death over pot.
It's very unfortunate. It's sad to see that there's school administrators that are willing to fright the life out of a kid just because of their backwards ideas of what is permissible, of what is correct, and the lack of vision to see that there's nothing that will stay in your life if you smoke marijuana as to be able to destroy it with one single action. This is a time that, kids are supposed to be celebrating and having fun, and kids experiment. Yes, they need counseling. Yes, they need administrators that guide them and that are keeping tabs of them, but not to bullying them to the extent to feel that this is the end of their life.
Right.
Actually threatening them, I'm going to make sure that you don't succeed, that your life is over. I think that these guys need to be punished.
This, in my opinion, looking at this case, it sounds like a felony to me. It sounds like what they did was illegal. I want to point out that Hayden, this was a direct quote. Hayden was looked in the eyes and verbally attacked by Mr. Weatherholt, and this is the friend saying this, who put this up online. 10 days suspicion, barred from participating in sports, a punishment inflicted without any real evidence because the joint wasn't actually on them. They just smelled like pot. Which makes this worse. I want to point out something that the friend Hank Siegel said online. He said, "We followed," and he's quoting exactly what happened to his friend. "What followed was a 2-week suspension from school, possible criminal charges, suspension from all sports, and a loss of driver's license." So, things that really matter to a sophomore in high school enough to take his own life. They knew exactly which buttons to push on this kid, and it just pushed him over the edge.
Was he the only one that was disciplined of the group?
No. There were. He was not the only one that smelled of evidence like pot. For one, there were 2 other students that were pointed out in this article, and Hank was actually at the dance watching this happen to his friend. It's just amazing. And it actually says there was a group of 6 honor students, and whether they were directly involved or standing by or lumped in a part of this group, all of these students were involved in sports, great members of our community. This is what Hank wrote online. This particular young man was an honor student. We're not talking about a criminal.
Exactly, and I think that's very, very important to understand the depth of this story. Maybe this community didn't want to show the rest of the community that you could be a star in sports, you could be an honor student and still smoke weed and not ruin your life. And I think it's very important to see that how these conservative communities will go to the extent to say, we better squash this, because if our honor students are succeeding and smoking pot, we cannot have that around. We have to make sure that they are made an example of in the community, because we can't allow this. And I think these are the consequences. We have a very bright kid that had a bright future now cut short because an administrator and a police officer thinking that they know about psychology, about
scaring
punishment.
this kid to death, bullying this kid into death.
It's very sad.
It's disgusting. Let us know what you think about Anthony Markajon at home. He's the high school administrator who pulled Hayden aside along with those other kids with the police officers. Let us know, do you think what he did constitutes an illegal action? Should this man be held accountable for this young man's suicide? Let us know what you think in the comments below. While you're at it, be sure to check out the rest of our channel, and of course subscribe to the Lip TV for more.